Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we take a look at the new Callaway Elite iron for 2025. Remember, if you like our channel, please hit that subscribe button and tell all your golfing friends. So we start 2025 with a new iron from Callaway. The Elite range has landed into our golf bags, into our fitting kits, and we're excited to have a look at it. So what have Callaway got this year? Well, they've got three main irons, which I've got here. They've got the standard head, they've got the X head, and they've got the HL head. So three new heads in the range. You've got three irons that, to be quite honest with you, probably are the best looking iron that I've seen from Callaway in terms of rack appeal for a long, long time. Now, some of you, especially you Callaway fans, may remember the X forged iron back 5-10 years ago. This has a look and a feel of that X forged about it. It looks cool, it looks classic, it looks classy. You've got to remember, back in the day, we go back to X12, X14 territory. We're talking 20 years, we're talking that I'm showing my age a little bit here, but X12, X14, Callaway were an absolute beast in this market. They dominated. The X14, X16, the Pro Series iron were phenomenal. And to be honest with you, when I look at this type of iron, and when I look at this iron for the first time, when I saw it for the first time, what I saw was a little bit of a flashback to that classic Callaway look, that classic Callaway design. And I think if I'm a player that's looking for a powerful iron, I think this could be it. But I also want something that's a little bit classy. This could be it as well. You know, when I look back at the irons back in X12, X14, X16, the Pro Series model, I used to dream of having a set back in the day, especially the X16 Pro Series. And the X model in that is something similar to it. It looks a bit like it to me. It's a bit classy, it's a bit, it's something about it that makes me want to hit it. And I think one of the beauty of an iron like that is that it doesn't really matter your handicap range too much, because we get pigeonhole some of these irons too much into that's got to be a 25 handicap iron, that's got to be a scratch golfer iron. And with this, with the way they look, I think what Callaway have done, they've enabled you to combo them very nicely from HL through to the standard iron, or the core iron if you like. But they've also been able to make it that actually it doesn't really matter what handicap. If I was a +2 golfer and that performed for me, the standard head, do you know what? I wouldn't be afraid to put that in the bag at all. It doesn't look chunky. It doesn't look, you know, like some of the previous Callaway irons. I think Callaway over the last 3-4 years maybe have lost their way. They brought it back a little bit with Paradigm. Last year's smoke iron was really good and smoke range was really good. But I think Elite is going to be one of those irons that performs really, really well. So what's the difference? Well, the main difference between the three irons is, if I'm going to be brutally honest with you, is ball flight. So you've got your standard head, you've got your standard loft with this iron, which is around 30 degrees. So with the standard iron, 7-iron loft is 30 degrees. You've got the X, which is a little bit stronger in loft, 29 degrees. And you've got the HL, which is a little bit weaker in loft, 31 degrees. So you can see that what Callaway have done is they've looked for ball flight rather than golfer's handicap. Now, a few brands have done this over the past 3 or 4 years, and it works really, really well, because if you make the irons look similar, the golfer in front of them doesn't mind which one they've got. And sometimes when you're fitting, it's very important that actually, if we've got a guy that maybe play off 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and it just needs a little bit more ball flight, he might need a little bit more launch, he might need to pop them. Actually, the HL model might suit him better in terms of performance. But if it's a chunky, horrible looking thing and it looks too far away from maybe the core iron, he gets put off quite quickly. What Callaway have done have made it look, and you can see this, and when Chris shows you the pictures close up, they look over the top of each other very, very similar. And I think from a fitting perspective, that's going to help us absolutely massively. So in terms of shaft, the main difference is you've got two products in the core shafts that Callaway will offer. You've got this 90 gram, 80 gram regular stiff in the Vector shaft, in the X and the standard, and then in the HL, you've got the KBS Max, so a little bit lighter as well. So 2 different shaft options. You've got graphite options as well. The Denali's are in the standard. So Callaway are going to for me, what Callaway have done is simplified their range for 2025. They've made it easy to understand, clean. You've got more AI technology in the face. They're talking about this technology in this face being 10 times more powerful than ever before. And you understand that, right? Like, because when they started this journey with AI faces years ago, effectively, that AI has now had more and longer time to learn. It's had more balls hit, it's got more data going in, so therefore, every year the face should get better. And depending on what type of iron we're looking for, whether it be the HL, it'll give you better characteristics in the face for launch. Whether it be the core product, it might give you more speed. The beauty of AI for them and what they're learning from it is that actually every year the face should get more and better, more and more. So look, it's a good iron. I'm buzzing to hit this iron actually. It's very rare that I get that excited to hit an iron, especially that's maybe not something I would typically gain. But look, let's jump on TrackMan and let's see how these numbers perform. So let's have a little look on TrackMan. I'm going to start with the core head, or the standard head. Again, like I said just a second ago, the top line of this iron is lean. It looks really sharp, it looks really clean. To be honest with you, it's a really, you could be mistaken, and this is going to be a massively controversial comment, but you could be mistaken to think this iron is forged. The way it sits, the way it looks, you could definitely be mistaken that it actually looks like a forged iron. It's not, but it definitely looks that way. So let's fat one and get that one out of the system. We don't want to see that, do we, guys? That's before anyone puts it in the comment, yes, I know we could have done with the HL, but oh wow, that's lovely off the face. You can hear, and you might be able to hear it on my mic, the real click, the real zip off the face. Real nice strike, that one. Really enjoyed that. It was good. Let's have a little look. So yeah, I mean, in terms of data on that, pretty good out the gate, to be honest. 88 miles an hour, swinging it a little bit. You can see it's a bit dark and dingy. Chris and I are filming early in the morning here in the UK in December with this iron, and it's a bit miserable outside, so I'm a little bit stiff, but you know, 90 mile an hour, just shy of 90 mile an hour club head speed, so it's not far off my normal. 120 mile an hour ball speed with this iron, which is pretty quick, I would say. Land angles at 43 degrees, which I think, for you, as you know, for me is a really important number when you're hitting an iron. 180 carry, so it's a good product. Again, you got to remember, and to put these irons and tests into context, we are testing this with standard product. So I'm not got it my length, my lie. I haven't got it with my shaft. We're not lucky enough to have all of that demo kit available to us when we test it necessarily. So to give you a really easy way, we made a decision just to try and test the sort of core product, because quite frankly, then it's fair on everyone else. So let's have a little look at this. Feels really good, feels really clean off the face, a little bit clicky, a little bit poppy, which I think you want in this iron. Numbers stack up. Overall, that's a really positive iron. Now, let me move into the X head. So, oh, I've got HL there. Let's jump into X. So, X head. So for me, I was expecting this head. It's a bit weird really, because in my head, where Callaway have been over successful in the past few years is when they've brought out a Pro series. So they've brought out a slightly leaner top line, they've brought out something that's a bit more powerful, a little bit lower loft. Well, I thought when I heard about this iron, that's what I thought this was going to be, but it's not. Yes, it's stronger in loft, but it's actually a thicker top line. It's designed for someone who's maybe struggling with a bit of distance, struggling with a bit of power, maybe pops the ball up a little bit too high. So X has stronger loft. Not a lot, but it's strong enough. And I would expect this one just to travel that little bit further. I mean, it feels lovely. If you can get over that initial change in top line look and how that sits behind the ball, 126 ball speed, 190 carry. So you can see that's a little bit longer. Obviously I hit it better, which obviously helps as well. Oh, a little cold December morning. Woo-hoo-hoo. Cold that one, Chris. Yeah, it definitely feels, as bizarre as that sounds, it definitely feels faster. 125, 190. Wow, it's quick. Like really quick. Overall, an iron, if you're going to look for more power in 2025, I think you want to be trying the X head. Like I say, the thicker top line isn't really for me. Then we get into HL. Now, this world of HL, high launch irons, started a few years back, and to be honest, from a fitter's perspective, it's been an absolute dream, because the amount of people that don't necessarily need or want or can even get more distance, but they, stopping a 7 iron on a green, stopping an 8 iron, stopping a 5 iron on a green is quite important. These slightly weaker lofted irons do help with that. They help with that launch angle as well. So if you've got maybe a slower swing as we go for it, I'd expect to do quite a lot of this in the graphite, because if you've got a slower swing speed and you need that little bit of launch, that little bit more pop, then HL is going to be probably the iron for you. So let's have a little look. Wow, that jumped up quite high. So in essence, I would expect this to be a fraction shorter, but definitely the land angle to be a fraction higher. So there you go, 183. So we've dropped back down in terms of overall carry distance, but the land angle's jumped up to 51 degrees. So this thing's gonna, in this time of year for us, is gonna absolutely plug into the ground. Wow, that's just jumped through the moon. Wow, enjoyed that. I mean, they look so similar in terms of the look of the iron. The top edge is the only really, for me, the biggest difference between the three is the top edge. You've got the X series, which is that little bit thicker, a little bit fatter. The HL actually sits for me in between the two in terms of the top line, and then the standard head obviously is the leanest. So when you put them all down, they look really, really similar. The faces look similar. Everything looks great, and I think that's where this blending and this comboing is really going to take place. I can see players quite easily putting long irons in HL and then putting the X head in. You'd have to make sure when you order that type of set that you match the lofts and the lies, because obviously you're going from a weaker 7 iron to a stronger 7 iron. So in terms of when you blend that product, you're going to make sure that when they cross over from one iron to the other, you're going to need to make sure that Callaway or whoever is building your clubs actually blends that loft correctly. I can also see going from X into the standard head. I can see that quite a lot, because I think you're going to see this little bit thicker in that top line and help you again with the longer irons, and then you'll want maybe this leaner, cleaner look in your short to mid irons when you're chipping and putting and hitting sort of wedge shots into the green. So let's hit one more. I was going to hit the HL again. Let me hit one more with the HL. There we go. Let's hit one more with this. That's the nice thing with HL though. I'm going to hit one more actually, because that was pretty rubbish. When you thin it like that, when you thin it like that with HL, it even just pops up as well. There's a bit of forgiveness to it. I think this iron is going to be a huge success for 2025. Price wise, this iron is going to be really, really competitive. You're sort of looking around the £950 mark, we've been told, for 6 sticks. So you are going to be in the world of competing with models. They're going to be slightly under models that are already out there. I think you're going to find that this is going to be an absolute game changer for Callaway. I think this year, if you've watched our driver video already, you'll see how much I really enjoyed hitting, not necessarily the triple diamond head, but the standard head. I think this family could be a game changer. Coming away from, and when Callaway changed the name sometimes, I've always said, I've said this for a few years now, Callaway do this horrible thing where they try and hang on to the name and regurgitate. Epic had a few lifetimes, right? When they change it to a completely different name, Elite, and they go at it, I think this is going to be ultra competitive in 2025. I think it's a great looking product, and it's definitely one you want to hit. So there we go, guys. That is me testing the new Elite iron from Callaway. 3 fantastic heads, all perform brilliant, great speeds, great launch angles, good distance off all the irons, even on a cold, murky morning. Remember, if you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button and tell all your golfing friends.